Coming up on this edition of the newsfeed, warming temperatures are affecting area farmers. Plus, exciting new research opportunities at Virginia Tech's drone cage. And how art can calm both your mind and body. Those stories and more are just ahead. Hello, and thanks for joining us on this edition of the newsfeed. I'm Celia Hullabar. Recently, Virginia Tech accepted its largest freshman class ever. The university scrambled to provide adequate housing, moving some students into nearby hotels, but families who rely on these hotels for commencement housing are now having to look elsewhere. In the fall of 2019, Virginia Tech accepted a record-breaking freshman class. Such numbers require resources, one of which is housing, and the university realized there simply wasn't enough of it. After dropping its on-campus housing requirements for first-year students, Tech sought extra rooms from the Holiday Inn Express and the Inn at Virginia Tech. However, this means that Hokie families relying on these hotels for commencement housing will have to look somewhere else.
A lot of parents have to stay in outer-lying towns like Dublin, Elliston, Radford, Roanoke, Salem, things like that. So just the number of rooms for sure.
Now, parents of graduating students are looking towards local Airbnbs, whose prices have increased due to high demand. Some families are even requesting to rent rooms of students who have left for the summer. The university has offered on-campus housing for families, but whether or not they will want to stay in vacant dorms is too early to tell. This winter was unreasonably warm for the New River Valley. Farmers in the area rely on the weather to make their living. We go to Drew Jones with the story on how this winter has affected local farmers.
While farmers in other areas might worry about the warm winter's effect, Virginia Tech Associate Professor of Agricultural Applied Economics, Olga Massa, says the winter might actually help farmers in our area.
It's important to keep in mind that around here in this part of Virginia, we don't have many crops. Most of the farmers around here have livestock. So for livestock, obviously, warm weather has been nice.
Joe Guthrie, a senior instructor in agricultural technology who also owns a livestock and hay farm in the area, says the positives outweigh the negatives. He has benefited from the weather, and he thinks other farmers have too.
I would think if you talk to most farmers, they would tell you that the great sense of relief that they've had, that their winter stores of feed are going to get them through the winter because of the warm weather and because there hasn't been a lot of snow cover, far exceed the detriment that they've experienced from having the wetter conditions, which are not entirely unusual. And the warm winter in particular was beneficial because it did follow, a period of drought.
While this predicted rise in extreme weather might not be good for agriculture, this winter has been a blessing for local farmers. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Drew Jones.
War Memorial Gym is on schedule to start its renovations as students at Virginia Tech head on spring break. With there only being one other available gym, students have found other alternatives for their fitness needs. When the news was announced last year that War Memorial was to be closed for renovations, students started looking to off-campus gyms around the Blacksburg area to avoid overcrowding at McComas Hall. Blacksburg Health and Fitness at the Weight Club in Blacksburg is an example of an off-campus gym that has benefited from the news of the renovations. Over the past few weeks, student members at Weight Club have heavily increased with their student discount memberships and regularly scheduled workout classes. It makes for a smooth transition. This can only mean good things for Weight Club as their membership numbers continue to rise.
So since the new year, a good amount of our new members, we do offer student memberships. And so we've had compared to the past few years, we've had a large number this year expanded. And that's great for business for us.
As business continues to go well, Wake Club believes that with their facilities and state-of-the-art equipment, they'll be able to hold on to their newest members and have them keep coming back in the future. Have you ever received a VT alert saying that campus is closed? Or maybe you have seen the Be Hokie Ready preparedness tips on social media. These are the works of Virginia Tech's emergency management, aiming to keep Virginia Tech safe one Hokie at a time. Newsfeed reporter Sarah Carr has more on the story.
Thanks, Celia. You truly never know when an emergency is going to occur. That's why Virginia Tech Emergency Management is helping the community take the steps necessary to ensure that Blacksburg is prepared. From trainings to immediate alerts, keeping Hokies safe is their #1 priority. To build, improve, and sustain university resilience, departmental readiness, and individual preparedness are the goals of the Virginia Tech Emergency Management Team. Certified by the Emergency Management Accreditation Program, and as the first university in Virginia to complete the Storm Ready program, Virginia Tech Emergency Management is prepared with the tools to make the community a safer place.
Overall, our mission, we want to make sure we build individual preparedness, which is going to increase our department readiness, which is going to make the university more resilient. So it's a building block process.
With events such as Stop the Bleed, a training for severe bleeding, Hokies can make sure they are prepared with the skill sets needed in case an emergency comes their way. Emergency Management hosts other hands-on trainings, departmental-based drills, and custom emergency exercises throughout the year, advising the community to take actions into their own hands.
And seek training, okay? Stop the bleed, first aid, AED training, learning how to swim. Those are all important skills, life skills that people should seek and have.
Their website, emergency.vt.edu, has more information on how to be a safer and smarter Hokie.
There you'll find all the resources necessary to make a kit, to prepare yourself, to familiarize yourself with the terms so that in the case of an emergency and you receive a VT alert, you then are aware and knowledgeable of the terminology and what exactly you need to do in that situation.
Thanks to Virginia Tech Emergency Management, the community continues to grow the skills needed to face any emergency. To better prepare yourself, the Be Hokie Ready preparedness tips online are a great place to start. I'm Sarah Carr, reporting for the Newsfeed. Back to you at the news desk.
Thanks, Sarah. Just ahead on the newsfeed, Virginia Tech explores new opportunities for drone research. And how to calm both your mind and body through art. This story and more after the break.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Give your town a reason to celebrate, because every Goodwill item you bring home brings job training and more to your community. Goodwill, bring good home.
Welcome back to the newsfeed. I'm Celia Holobar. Big things are happening in terms of aircraft control in Blacksburg. Engineers from Virginia Tech's Mid-Atlantic Aviation Partnership and NASA have teamed up on a project that's goal is to utilize drones to sense nearby flight aircraft in the hopes of longer, safer flights. I spoke to the engineers behind the research to get the latest. The Virginia Tech Mid-Atlantic Aviation Partnership Team, MAP, is one of the 7 research teams working with NASA on a highly debated area of drone testing, known as the detect to avoid problem.
What we're exploring with NASA on this project is the use of a radar-enabled drone, plus some sophisticated flight computer and algorithms that enable the drone to autonomously maneuver when they encounter another aircraft.
MAP has evaluated a lot of these technologies over the years, but this was a first for them in regards to having a system that effectively adjusted to air traffic without the use of pilot input.
So when we executed the first autonomous maneuver against the intruder aircraft and we witnessed the flight computer and the radar and the full system actually do as planned and execute a very gentle maneuver, that was really thrilling to see that it was very manageable and predictable.
Safety is always a top priority for members of MAP. That's why in 2018, Virginia Tech built an 85-foot drone park with the intended use for students and faculty to have a safe environment for drone research, recreation, testing, and educational purposes.
The whole point of this test is to be able to avoid aircraft, so having to fly against aircraft, if it doesn't work, we need to be able to take over and have a human get in the loop and take it back whenever.
Jeremy stresses it comes down to having trust in your algorithms and the systems you build.
Taking that leap of faith and giving that system that control, it's a great feeling to see it doing the right thing, and keeping that safety barrier is huge for both us as a company and the industry as a whole.
Reporting for the newsfeed, this has been Celia Holobar. Across Blacksburg, there are many different displays, locations, and events that put an emphasis on the importance of artistic expression. The impact art has on our mind and body is often overlooked, but its therapeutic benefits should not be ignored. Some mediums of art may be more permanent than others, but the impact on our mind and bodies is universal. Newsfeed reporter Tyler Herpel has more in this next story.
Art comes in many forms and from many places. It also provides remedial measures for the mind and body. While some may associate tattooing with pain, others find the experience of adding a piece of art onto their bodies therapeutic.
When you are getting tattooed, it is something where I feel like I connect with people on like a certain level. A lot of people call it ink therapy. I'm not a therapist, but like I definitely become like a shoulder for a lot of people to like get things out, and and that this just happens to be like where they feel comfortable doing that.
And if tattoos aren't for you, Virginia Tech Rec Sports has began hosting events for the arts because of its beneficial effects on your mind and body.
So this is our Valentine Design Paint Night Party, and our idea was to get people to recreationally paint, which has been known to be good for your mind and your body, and maybe a little different than those who might want to play a sport or do something through rec sports like that.
Art is an alternative method to a healthy lifestyle, and Kelly McPherson wants you to have that option available.
Well, I think it's important to know that there are other things besides exercise that are good for your actual physical health and definitely your mental well-being as well.
So whether it's needles and ink or brushstrokes on a canvas, Blacksburg has many different outlets for your artistic expression and, of course, for your well-being. From the newsfeed, this is Tyler Heipel reporting. That
will wrap up this edition of the newsfeed. If you have a story idea for the newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. And as always, you can also connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'm Celia Holobar.